Good morning. It is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Noon Tarot. My necklace is askew. We're here to look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that energy reflected back to us in our in our outside world, in our external environment, and in the internal I'm sorry, not in the internal, and in the interactions that we have with others. There we go. We will see our own energy reflected back to us. So something I just want to comment on. I posted about this on TikTok, and actually, the video got quite a lot more views than I expected it to. So I wanted to mention it today in this YouTube video in case you missed the TikTok. But I noticed as I was going through my feed the other day that there was a lot of frustration coming from feminine, uh, gendered, or feminine identifying gendered readers who were reading about the divine masculine. And there was like angst, frustration. And it's interesting because I wasn't experiencing feelings of frustration like um, that I was in tune with. So I was kind of, it was interesting because I was seeing their anger and it was jarring to me because I wasn't feeling angry towards the masculine energy. I was feeling very much at peace. Like that energy is really, it's working. Like I can see it in myself. I know the lessons that I've been learning, I'm applying, and I'm providing for myself, and I'm planning and strategizing and like taking action. So when I was seeing that, I realized that what I was seeing was the attachment that I still needed to be aware of myself that others had. Because the only reason that you would be frustrated, that you would be yelling or angry or something at the divine masculine energy, is if there's someone that you're thinking about who's not doing what you're expecting, which is what? Calling you up to take you on a date and come into physical union. And that's not really what the journey is about. So if you're feeling frustrated like that, there's some kind of feeling that that person who's going to come and reunite with you, that event is like permission or something to have everything you want, everything you desire, when really that physical meeting is only a small portion of what you do. I've heard readers say in response that like the divine masculine and feminines have to work as a team to do their mission work. And the thing is, you are doing that. You are working as a team. You, every time you have an interaction where you're triggered to heal a wound, you are working as a team to heal yourself so that you personally, when you interact with others, interact from a healthy, whole, healed space, which teaches other people how to do the same thing. And because the way we are built with mirror neurons, when you come around somebody who has achieved emotional regulation and mastery, who is able to control the reactivity they have within them, who's in tune with their feelings, but also able to check in with the headspace and vice versa, then that, by the process of osmosis, shifts the energy of the people around you because you are a different person for every person that you are around in your life. So you shouldn't feel frustration. There should be no frustration. The universe isn't frustrated. There's no frustration there. Like when I'm entertaining you as a reader and I act like the universe is acting annoyed or whatever, I'm personifying something that doesn't have that kind of humanness, because we are human and divine, whereas the divine is simply divine, which was a song I wrote a few years back. So the masculines are doing the work. They're doing the work inside of you. And the frustration you're feeling is indicating that you still haven't done your work, which is to detach from the person that is not doing the thing that you want them to do, because you think that that person is meant to be with you for all time so that you can come into this mission work and do. You are doing that. You were meant to meet the person. They were meant to trigger you. You were meant to heal. Every time you do that, you're closer and closer and closer to ascension, which is the goal of the journey. The physical union of the twins it's a blip in time. It's not that big of a deal. And it's really hard for you to accept it because your ego is like, but it is going to be good. It's going to be good whoever you're with because you've learned mastery. So let that angst go. Let the anger go towards the person who's not doing the thing. And also embrace that you don't know what they're doing. You might be a psychic. I'm speaking specifically to readers here. But readers are always limited by their egos. Like I always tell you, if I am aware, and I'm not always aware, but I always tell you when I'm reading, oh, here's my ego. My ego's here today. Like I need to push it aside because I can tell the difference when I'm reading between divine messages, which even if they're like hard, tough love, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way, this, that, and the other thing, they're calm. Whereas my ego has like a tightness in the chest. I have like a fear-based response. It's not the same thing. So just know that. And my ego is going to come out in my readings because I'm human. So any reader that thinks their messages are infallible, I wouldn't trust them. I know my messages are always going to be tinged by my ego to a certain extent. That's why I relate them back to my own experiences, not just because I'm a Leo, double Leo placement, although that's a big part of it. And I love to talk about myself, but it's also just to show you like my messages are filtered through my experiences. And we share a lot of the same experiences, which is why the messages that I receive resonate with you, right? Anyway, that was a big, long intro today, but I just felt like something needed to be said about that because I see these beautiful messages coming through these readers and everything they're saying is resonating. Even their frustration and was resonating. But I can tell that there's in those particular messages, their ego's fears are controlling their reactivity. Because if you're really tuned into the energy, you're not at all afraid that the masculines aren't going to do something. You're afraid that your masculine person isn't going to do something on your timeline. But that's not at all what the journey is about. So just don't get it twisted. Okay, let's actually do this reading today. How is everybody? I see some people in the room. You're welcome to chat if you feel so inclined. I try to look at the messages, although I don't always see them. You came here today, probably not to get lectured, but maybe you do. Maybe I think some people like it. They say they like that from me and Sin on the weekend. The hot tea, the tough love. But there is probably something that you think, if this thing happens, boy, am I going to feel way better about my life, my existence, whatever it is. For me, right now, in this moment, outside of being able to finally move and not live out of boxes for this entire month, it's to close the windows so that this noise that's coming in will be quiet. So give me one moment. I'm going to close the windows while you think about what it is that you think will make you feel better. Also, I swear that when I use this one YouTube sleep, like affirmation sound thing called Money Storm, that it rains in LA the next day. I swear every time I do that, it happens. And one time I listened to like this one that was called like Winter Storm. And I was like, "Oh, that sounds nice. I haven't heard a winter, like, what does even a winter storm sound like?" Like, I like in my mind, I was like, I don't even remember. It's been so long. And then I listened to it, and the next day there was crazy wind. And I was like, whoa, like, am I manifesting the weather with my YouTube videos? Like, because that's really weird. But anyway, so I'm sure while I got up and shut the windows, that you were thinking about that thing that will make you feel better, that you'll hear some kind of message today. It's going to tell you this is what's going to happen. And then that's going to just make you feel so good. That is what your ego thinks that you need. And sometimes our ego knows or is in tune with our higher self, and sometimes it's not. So let's check. So that thing that you thought you needed that would make you like so happy, everything would be hunky-dory, here's what you actually need. Oh, I like this one. I don't think we've gotten this one before, or in a long time anyway. But this is the Princess of Wands. I don't think I've ever gotten this one. Or the Page of Wands. So this is inspiration, excitement. It's 10:11 on the clock. In 11 minutes and 10 seconds, I looked at the timer. That's crazy. But so curiosity, excitement, anticipation, feeling that spark, feeling that chemistry, feeling inspired to creativity, making communication, even if it's a small communications, having some kind of small idea or not a small communication of a larger idea. There's a lot of wands I'm seeing on the feminine side, and a couple showing on the masculine side. We're in Aries season, so this fire makes a lot of sense. But this is what we really need. Good morning, Gina. We need to be inspired. We need to be excited and anticipate the event that we would like to see occur. All right, that's the theme for the reading. Now let's get started. We're going to start with Divine Feminine today because of her 6 placements. She had 4 of the placements showing, 4 cards. I would say she is overthinking and overfeeling. The masculine, overthinking. Seems like the heart space was in check, but dang with the overthinking over here for masculine. But let's start with the feminine. This is the tune in. So we do the head space first and then the heart space. And we're looking at the top of the deck. This is the overall state of the Divine Feminine's mind. It's like what she's thinking about the most. And it's interesting because it's the 10 of Pentacles, but it was in its reverse from the Mystic Mondays Tarot. And this is the 10 of Pentacles. I'm particularly fond of the 10 of Pentacles in the decks that do not depict anything except some abstraction, because in my humble opinion, it is best not to have too much attachment to the specific details of things. Now, let me qualify that, because there are different types of manifestors. There are general manifestors like me, and then there are specific manifestors. General manifestors usually do better if, like, let's say I want to live in a new place, rather than say like, oh, I picture my house and it's got like, and then fleshing out every single detail of it, is not as effective for me as if I just give like general things. I want natural light. I want a fresh air that it moves throughout the home. Like the climate to be comfortable and adjustable. I want a place where I can swim. I want a place where I can walk. I want beautiful nature outside. I want, like those kinds of things. Whereas a specific manifestor is the type of person who's like, I would like exposed brick wall in the kitchen with, like really detailed. And that is good for some people. For others, it's more of like the feeling thing that they need to create, rather than like create the visual of what it looks like and walk around the space. It just depends. But in either case, if you're trying to manifest, I live at 613 whatever street, not that you can't do that, not that you can't manifest that, like that place becomes available for you. But the more attached you are to the more like the specific elements of something, the more difficult it can be to manifest, because you're asking for something that your ego has delineated, but there is an essence that you're actually asking for that's deeper than the surface level accoutrements of the thing, right? So it's like when you're asking for a relationship with a specific person, the reason you're asking for that is because you believe certain things about this person. You believe that you'll feel safe. You believe that you'll feel good. You believe that you'll feel connected. You believe that you'll have the same interests, or that you'll have shared experiences, or you have all these beliefs about this person that make you want them. The universe understands that what you're asking for is not this physical thing. Really, it's not. You're asking for how you think this physical thing will make you feel. And sometimes there's better ways of making you feel that way, and more fitting and more expansive. So if you're so attached to this one idea that you can't see or be open to anything else, it can take a very, very long time to change your thinking enough to receive what it is you're looking to receive. If you're not good at being delusional, like me, it'll be really tough to actually manifest that specific thing. Like, I am a Pisces rising, and there's a certain level of delusion that comes with being a Pisces, any Pisces placement. And that delusion allowed me to believe a story so crazy that when I finally have the opportunity to be able to reveal my true twin flame journey, y'all jaws are going to drop, because it's just nutty to a certain extent. But I have the ability to be so delusional to imagine that something so crazy could happen. Some people can't do that. They have to be much more specific. They have to be much more grounded, much more practical. But the more delusional you can be, when you want a specific thing, the more likely you are to be able to attract it. So all of that is to say that the divine feminine is thinking about what makes her happy. She might be thinking she doesn't feel it yet because it's not upright, but I don't feel that. What I really think is more that she's like, listen, I don't know exactly what is going to make me happy anymore, because I know to a certain extent that what I was driven by in the past was my ego. And I can tell by how I have learned and the lessons I've learned that blindly doing whatever my ego thinks is not that great of an idea. The niggling thing in the back of her mind is the King of Wands. And immediately I know this is about her thinking about the divine masculine taking action. This goes back to the very beginning of this video when I started talking about the frustration coming from the divine feminine. This feeling of frustration. Someone made a really great comment in my TikTok video when I talked about that, and they said, yeah, isn't it annoying when the feelings of the masculine start to push through and come out like that, and it's not your own feelings? And I was like, that's actually pretty accurate. Like, not that the divine masculine isn't your own feelings, but it's the divine masculine within self that is frustrated. It's the inner divine masculine that is showing that. Now, we think it's the feminines who are frustrated because this person isn't taking action, but that's not what it is. The aggression energy, that fight response, that's the masculine energy. This is not gender. It's not supposed to be stereotyping. If you're a man, you act aggressive, and if you're a woman, you don't. That's not what it means. It's the energy within people that is either active, proactive, or receiving. And it's going to be some, like, at some place on that scale. when the divine feminine doesn't get what she wants, she gets frustrated. It's the masculine energy inside of self that is now wanting to take action, send a text message, make a phone call, like, make a demand even, instead of just being open and receptive to your person coming at any time. It's like, y'all need to do this by Easter or I'm going to slap you upside the head. Like, what are you going to do? That was one of the things that triggered me when I was watching the videos. It triggered my own wound where I was like, oh, this feeling that it needs to happen now. It needs to happen. It should have happened a long time ago. That's my ego. But you're thinking a lot about this masculine person taking action. And also, you're probably thinking about the things you need to do to take action to create your wealth and abundance. If this other person isn't going to take action when you were putting a lot of stock in the plan you had to do this with this person, which is still coming for you, but is never going to be as powerful as it will be because you bring your own autonomy with you to this endeavor that you're going to have with this person. I do believe there are many people in the collective who are going to come together and work together in the same field of healing and create and the creative arts. So I do think you're going to work together, but bringing your own power rather than coming and being codependent, it's going to be a much different place. The first thing on Divine Feminine's mind, we have the Magician. So she's working hard to manifest. She's tuned into her power. And everything that I just said, we can kind of breeze through everything on this table because it's everything I just literally talked about when I was holding up the 10 of Pentacles for an hour. The 3 of Wands in reverse and the Ace of Wands in reverse. A lot of fire, the Page of Wands in reverse. And it's, of course, Princess because we're using Mystic Mondays, which matches our theme here, which is upright. And we are seeing right out the gate, Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine is like, I can't see it happening, so I'm losing my spark. I'm losing my momentum. I'm losing my drive. I'm losing my faith because it hasn't happened the way that I have manifested or planned it or the way that I imagined that it would. And so it's really hard for me to stay excited and stay interested in this, happening. I think about how I used to react when my OG, we'll call him my OG twin, would do certain things on Instagram and I would just get so excited, and now I don't, but I feel a lot more calm. Like I had something happen where I just saw his love for me like so profoundly. And rather than be like hysterical, which is what I used to do, I was just like, that's enough. Like if that's all that I ever have, that's enough. Like I know this person loves me more than any other person on the planet. And I love that person more than any other person loves him on the planet, 100%. So that's enough. But when we're really frustrated with how long things are taking, it's easy to like lose that excitement, lose that connection. And this is what's coming for Divine Feminine, change, because we have the 2 of Pentacles, and then following that, we've got this Wheel of Fortune, which is clarifying here the Magician. So we do know that she has been trying to fuck with time. So this can be somebody who's like trying to jump timelines. There's so many different people in this collective with so many different beliefs and ideas. But this is definitely for me that she's been trying to work with or against the timeline. If she's working with the timeline, then she's accepting of the astrology. She's accepting of the magic that's present in the divine timing. If she's working against it, then she's trying to change her thinking so that she can shift in the timeline and not have these things take so long. Because there's been these eternal cycles of back and forth going on for her. We're also seeing here that she's trying to manifest wealth and take advantage of opportunities, good moments. The impatience is for this harvest of the 7 Pentacles, which has been a stalker card this week. The seeds are planted. She's ready for this harvest. It's past due time. So far past due time that she's almost lost interest in the harvest. It's barely holding interest for her anymore. She's kind of like, that's nice. But this final card shows me that it's something that she truly desires, naively and innocently, maybe a little delusionally. But this is the Page of Cups energy, which is true love, very heart-centered, very, very just naive and innocent love. And it's the only reason this is continued. This is the only reason that this back and forth, this balancing, trying to balance has happened, is because of the love she feels. In the heart space, where we have a ton of overfeeling, the top of the deck is the devil. So, and it's one of the sexiest devils out there. And he's like, come with me. Come with me. Let me show you. But Divine Feminine, because of this card in the headspace, I know that she's working to release attachment to her ego's desires. So this isn't so much of a threat to me as it is the heart really wanting to experience pleasure, to just allow herself to be happy right now, appreciating everything in this moment. The niggling thing in the back of, or the feeling in her heart space, clarifying this King of Wands is the Knight of Wands. But look who it is. It's Divine Feminine. And she's beating out her own rhythm here. And there's this wildness. There's a wild stallion back here. So the King of Wands is the monogamous king because he has sexual mastery. He's very passionate and he enjoys sexual pleasure, but he has mastery over that energy. So he's focused usually on one feminine. The Knight of Wands is a player energy, but it's also an energy about being swept off your feet, being spontaneous, just going for it, just throwing caution to the wind. And to see these two cards together, I feel that Divine Feminine wants to allow herself to just throw caution to the wind and accept this offer. Even though she's a little bit afraid of it. She's afraid of the power of this person, that this person has over her. She is afraid that she might be succumbing to temptation. But the niggling thing in her heart space is like, go for it. Don't even think about it like that. Don't even worry about it. Clarifying the Magician, these two cards came out. The Nine of Swords and the Judgment card. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. So, Divine Feminine, awakening to her own power, no longer being afraid of her power, no longer being, this is about waking up from a nightmare, and this is about awakening like to your divinity. It's about forgiveness. So there's definitely themes of forgiving herself for like judging herself harshly, and also the masculine energy. There's a lot going on here. This is major energy centered around this fear and anxiety. So a lot of work to calm herself and to forgive herself. this work the feminine has been doing is bringing this justice. It's bringing this balance into her. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't believe these cards. It's bringing this balance to her. It's like this was unfair, okay? This constantly being stimulated with this future potential by the masculine and then nothing ever happening from it, which caused the feminine's feelings to fizzle out for the masculine. This is going to be made fair and balanced. She feels that there will be justice for all the time that she waited and all the work that she's done. Who has she been cycling back and forth with? Here, this emperor. But the emperor, right? So there's definitely this individual in her life who is a divine masculine. They have had an eternal connection and there's change. This person has changed. Divine feminine has changed. So this person has also changed to reflect back her energy. This change, this wheel of fortune here, this is the cycle being complete. We have the world card. So this is literally the wheel that's turning. It has finally completed one cycle. And now this new offer can come. This page of pentacles. So we've got the page of wands, the page of pentacles, the page of cups. A lot of new and fresh energy coming up. And we have this very small offer being made, but it's like just the start of this larger harvest. There's much abundance behind this small gesture. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. So her heart knows that the only reason that things are going slowly right now is because the masculine is trying to figure out exactly how to overcome the withholding, breadcrumbing, and slow moving behavior that he's had. So he's just gotta accept defeat, sort of, and just eat crow and just sort of be like, yeah, it took a long time. Sorry. The divine feminine knows that this is what is holding him up, is that he feels like he lost his opportunity, like the divine feminine gave up in defeat, but she hasn't. She still holds this cup for him. She still has this innocent love that's not been jaded by any of the experiences that have happened. She's let those things go. All right, we'll come back to the divine feminine's oracles, but first let's see what the divine masculine is thinking and feeling. This page who's holding this pentacle here, which, you know, even though this is supposed to be a small offer, is actually quite a large pentacle. First, this is the overall headspace of the divine masculine using the Wild Unknown Tarot. By the way, this was the Light Seers Tarot. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot, and the overall state of the divine masculine headspace is give this offer, bro. Give the offer to the feminine. There's wealth here. There's prosperity here. There's abundance. There's growth and expansion. And oh my gosh, there's all the pages. We've got all the pages out. And I want to give this to divine feminine. I just want this to be over. The niggling thing in the back of the mind, the world, this completion, the ending of karmic cycles, the beginning of this new cycle with the feminine where they are together. We love that. Coming into union. Divine masculine wants to give this offer so that he can end the cycle with the feminine that he's been in with the feminine. The first thing on his mind telling the truth, Ace of Swords, about the Three of Swords, about third-party energies, entanglements, heartbreak, expressing the, shocking information, I think, about what has gone on, about, I think about how much heartache, how much pain this masculine has felt along this journey, not being able to be with the feminine. There's definitely this desire. It's the first thing on his mind. I need to tell the truth to end the separation and also tell the truth about the separation. The next thing he's thinking of is this Four of Pentacles upright. So, the cross here is interesting. I usually associate faith with the Four of Swords, but this card showing me the cross always makes me think of faith too. But he's definitely holding on to something. This is not letting go of this relationship. I'm pretty sure, just having faith that it's gonna all work out. All the things are gonna work out, especially because he feels like he has this stable foundation that he did not have before. Then we have the Stalker card, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands, which is associated with the twin flame journey. And this is about waiting and being patient. So divine masculine has had to patiently wait the seeds that he's planted, being ready for harvest. And you will notice these seeds are just in the furrowed ground, but these are actually ready to be harvested. So this is what's taken the divine masculine so long, is it's like the nurturing and care that's required for the harvest, for this to happen. He didn't know how to do it himself. And that's what he's learned on this journey, like how to be able to nurture and care for the things that you really want and desire in this world. Telling that truth about the heartbreak, the entanglements, and the separation and the reasons for it is being clarified by Temperance in reverse and the Ten of Wands. This masculine did not want to burden you, because he had likely a drinking problem, or just issues with substance abuse, addictions, anger, like he was not good at expressing emotions, not emotionally regulated. He did not want to burden you with that. And that is like really the truth. It's not like he's just an asshole. In fact, he was trying not to be an asshole and didn't work out so well. But he didn't want to burden you with that. And that's what he wants to talk to you about. He's really working up that courage with this Daughter of Swords or Page of Swords energy. He feels a lot more courageous right now because he feels like he's coming from a much more solid foundation. He's watching you. He's actually, this is also about like worrying about other people's opinions and ideas. He's bringing a certain amount of wisdom. So he's feeling brave because he knows it doesn't matter so much what other people think and feel. External validation is a big part of the Four of Pentacles. And he's just being wise about it. He doesn't care what people see right now on social media. He's just really wanting to be brave and come forward as this King of Pentacles, Father of Pentacles, which is clarifying that Two of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. So this is all he was waiting for. He was waiting to feel this worthiness. He was waiting to see himself as worthy, and he just couldn't do that when he was so imbalanced. Top of the deck for the heart space. Oh my God. For First of all, it's temperance again in reverse, which we already saw in the headspace. So there's union, but this is the overall feeling. This is funny. He's churning inside. There is this, some temperance cards actually show like a fiery alchemy. And I feel that happening from this masculine. He's so wants to give this offer, this material offer, and he's still balancing all this emotion that is coming with it. He just doesn't yet have the skill that he needs to be able to really temper the fire so that he can feel like he can speak and come forward. Like he gets so agitated and nervous and distressed, and like it makes him want to drink to calm his nerves. It makes him want to, like, do things to relax. It's like he knows that if he can just get through this and give you this offer, that those feelings will dissipate, but they are so frightening to him because he just never learned that regulation. The niggling feeling in his heart space is the Hermit, but it's coming out with the World. And so I'm seeing that he wants to end this period of being alone and actually make his way to the divine feminine. And he's scared. The World again. That's why I said, holy shit. This cycle is complete. And the World is coming out for the masculine to show us what he wants to tell you. This karmic cycle is over. The separation is over. The chaos, all of the things that he was concerned about, it's in the past. And he can offer you now this Page of Cups, this heartfelt, heart-centered love that's a reflection of your love, divine feminine. He wants to offer you apologies for how much his reputation meant to him, and how grasping he was financially, for how long it took him to feel stable. But he just wants to come and say, I love you now. He wants to be done with the separation, done with the pain, done with the struggle, done with the suffering. This Two of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles, this is the only thing that has kept us in this holding pattern. That Five of Swords that the divine feminine was tuned into over here. This conflict, he wants to walk away from this conflict, from this feeling of not being able to harvest what he's asked for. He's no longer wanting to struggle with this idea. This burden, this Nine of Wands, this emotional regulation, this is why the separation was in place, the Ten of Swords. He knew that it was painful for you to not know what was going on. He knew that he was causing you pain, but he felt that he would cause you much more pain if you had to share the burden of his imbalanced, intemperate self. This Page of Swords, the reason why he's feeling brave is because he's completed this deep healing. He doesn't feel like a victim anymore in the Nine of Wands, forever lost, alone, and licking his wounds. He's leaving behind that energy. And he's just like, I'm not a victim. I might not know how to do this, but I have a sword, and all I need is the truth. And the truth sets you free. I know that it does. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this leap. Here's the Fool. I'm going to take this leap. I'm going to make this offer. And I'm just going to be delusional and just believe that this divine feminine is going to accept it from me, even though I have been so foolish. Okay. Let's go see the Divine Feminine's oracles now. Oh, I cut way back on the Monday oracles because I was like, girl, I can't do 2-hour readings. I have like meetings and shit on Mondays. Like, so we have less oracles, but all like my OG ones for the most part. So Divine Feminine, do I ever feel this? I definitely feel this today. We are in the light attributes of the goddess. The feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Definitely feeling that. Divine Feminine, stay in that energy, honoring yourself, feeling that goddess energy within you. And your goddess, your inner goddess is really being expressed through your wisdom. My guardian angel is here to help me with practice makes perfect. And I definitely need to practice. I have a show coming up on the 23rd. If you are in Los Angeles and you would like to go to the show, there is a new series called Echo Park Sessions that's kind of like Silver Lake Jams, if you're familiar with that. And that is taking place on the 23rd. It is the what do you call that? There's a word I'm trying to think of. Like when it's the first time something has happened. Don't know. But it's the very first Echo Park sessions that they're going to do. And we are the headlining band. So we will see you there on the 23rd. And I better get practicing for it because practice makes perfect. Divine Feminine, there's a reversal on this card because I do think there is this tendency to think that you have to be perfect for this to work out. It feels like it because it's taken a long time and you keep blaming the length of time it's taking on yourself rather than on the divine, you know? And so there's this constant thinking of like, I need to be better. I need to be perfect. But you don't need to be perfect. You are already perfectly imperfect. And there is nothing more required of you. There's nothing more you need to do or be or have than who you are right now. And when you really feel this way, things just get so much easier because it's not like you're like, oh, I never need to do anything or refine myself or work on myself. It's not like that. It's like, oh, you know, this cake is good. It's baked perfectly. It has a delicious coating of buttercream frosting on it. And now I'm going to put a few decorations on it. Like that's where you are, Divine Feminine. So embrace that about yourself. You have really, really ascended and you're always going to be refining yourself because perfection is, you know, like an idea. It's like a journey that we take knowing we'll never really arrive there, but feeling good that we're like heading in that direction. Something about that is coming up. Forgiveness. This was actually in reverse when it first came out of the deck and I turned it right side up by the way that I like flipped the card out. And I just made a mental note of that. So this is something that you've recently been able to truly do. And I actually felt myself doing that. The other night I did like, it was so new. It was so natural. It was just this organic thing where I just felt myself being like, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. What can I do to make it up to you? Please forgive me. I'm sorry. It was my fault. What can I do to make it up to you? Please forgive me. And then feeling that coming back towards me. It was an energetic experience, but it was really beautiful. And it didn't happen because I forced it. It happened naturally, right when it was meant to happen. Rhino Spirit is here to help you overcome any obstacle. So the message from Rhino Spirit is, yes, divine timing in play, 100%. We always have the choice to press ahead, and Rhino Spirit's strength offers you the power to break through stubborn obstacles. This animal spirit knows there is more than one way to open a path to what you seek. When Rhino Spirit appears, you are reminded that you have a marvelous ability to overcome obstacles in multiple ways. By going around them, shattering them with the force of clear, deliberate intentions, or even transforming them into clouds that drift away by refusing to allow them to limit you. Apply your Rhino Spirit with creativity, and no obstacle can stand, for you have magic to make and many ways in which to make it. Your power is awesome right now. Rhino Spirit also wants to remind you that when an obstacle appears to prevent you from getting what you desire today, it means that something much better is coming. Keep that in mind when you consider the nature of the obstacle in front of you now. Great Spirit loves you so much and only wants the best for you. Like, imagine that 3 years ago when I was like, oh, I really hope that I come into union with my divine masculine. That I had come into union with that person who was not ready. And I also wasn't. And I thought I was. Oh, I thought I was. But I wasn't. And the experience that I would have been with an unhealed person who then would have done really shitty things. And I would have done really shitty things in response. And then we would have a lot more shit that we would have to get over right now than we actually did. The beauty of the twin flame journey is that twins, and by this I mean individuals, not the two people together, but just individuals, all twins in general. They agree to learn about unconditional love through this journey. And because of this agreement, they agree to separation. The universe is like, look, twin flame journey is great because you really get to have profound connections with people, and you get to feel peace, and you get to feel the power of the divine's ability to heal. But you can only do this after suffering trauma and isolation. And you go, okay. The universe is like, I can't emphasize to you enough how much trauma and isolation you're going to experience. And you're like, no, I know, I got it. You're like, okay, but there's going to be a lot, and it's going to be like a lot of incarnations. And you're like, totally. The universe is like, okay, well, I'll be here when you need me. Literally, the separation is for you to do everything you've always wanted to do. And as a person who's been married before and has had a child who is now almost 16, oh my God, I can tell you what, I have lived on my own the last few years. I have FaceTime with my son every night, but my ex-husband was able to keep physical custody of my son, or like the only way I could have shared custody is if I lived within 20-minute drive of my abuser. No, thank you. And I did try to do that for a while, but I ended up moving out here in 2012. Not 2012, I'm sorry, 2015. And I've had a lot of time alone because I did not have a lot of relationships. I didn't have any relationships outside of a few friends. I worked. I struggled. And I made cool shit, and I did cool stuff, and I had the time and the space to do that. Now, I had guilt. I had a lot of feelings that I had to get over. I had a lot of obstacles that I had to overcome to truly embrace the power of separation, but being separated even from my child, which was really difficult. First of all, I spent the first 8 years doing everything for my child. My ex-husband was not involved much. He would come home in the evenings and, you know, be there for like bath time and stories. He's a good dad, but he just worked a lot. And he always wanted this. He's a very rigid idea of what a family should be and how they should act. And so he's always really concerned about like traditions being upheld, stuff like that. But the actual emotional connecting, the like showing up for school plays and going to doctor's appointments and all of those things, that was this guy right here. I did all that stuff. So when I moved, when my son was around 8 years old, my ex was now in this position where he had to be that. He had to do things he never did. And so in some ways that was beneficial for my son. My son ended up experiencing much more time with his father than he did when he was just relying on me to do everything. So the separation that we experience, the time that we have apart, we might feel like it's this terrible obstacle, but it's actually the freedom we have to overcome the obstacles, because we can't overcome these obstacles when we are so distracted by all these other things, by the needs that other people have. And it's that loneliness that causes us to focus on the divine, period. Whenever you are completely alone, there is this niggling feeling that you're not. And it's only when you're completely alone that you can truly feel that. So, yeah. Separation has given us the opportunity to work on all these obstacles and overcome them. Here is your theme for this week. It says swiftness. It's the 8 of Wands. And you got that Knight of Wands energy in your heart space, which is this feeling of like, just do it. This is Nikes. Like, put on your Nikes and go for a walk. Like, just do it this week. This is also about communication. And you're the one who got the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands. And the theme is the Page of Wands, which is making small communication. So this may be that it is time for the divine feminine to communicate in her life in some way. Now, whenever I used to get these messages a year ago, I would be like, oh, this means I'm supposed to text my masculine person. It might mean that, but it doesn't always. So before you go do that, I want you to really think about where you're at, what the reason for the messages would be, what your goal would be from that message. If you feel any fear, if you feel like, oh, I don't think he'll write back to me, don't send it, because you're still resistant. You still don't feel he's receptive. You haven't changed that thought yet. If you feel that this person would be receptive and you feel confident about that, go ahead. You're welcome to. This is your show. You can't get it wrong, and you're never going to get it done. It's never going to be done. You're going to keep doing it always. That's why the practice make perfect card thing was, you're always going to be practicing. You're always going to be working. You're always going to be refining. But a lot of times what this means is communication in other ways. So maybe there's been someone in our life, not just that person, that we haven't communicated with. Maybe we haven't been expressing ourselves in general. And maybe we haven't been going with the flow, which is one of the bigger messages that comes from the 8 of Wands. So go with the flow. If you do feel inspired to some kind of communication and all of those things I said seem like they're in place for that, then by all means, go ahead. The door is open, which probably means that the masculine is open to receiving communication. Okay, divine masculine, your turn. You're in the shadow attributes right now of the prince. Wah, wah. Using power for self-aggrandizement. Okay, so the feeling that I'm getting is what you wanted, divine masculine, was to show up looking like this. You wanted to show up as the prince. You wanted to save the day. You wanted to, you know, make that divine feminine just admire you. And you've pretty much been unwilling to step forward and communicate in any way, shape, or form unless you can be certain that she knows how powerful, how brave, how wealthy, how ambitious, how established, how significant you are. That has all been about your ego, because you could show up in a pair of footy pajamas and divine feminine would still see you as all of those things and a huge baby, which she sees you as, even if you come up in your prince energy. Even if you show up with all your money and your fancy clothes and shoes and your coiffed, you know, physical appearance, and you know, you just like, and you can command all this, you might as well have showed up in footy pajamas. She knows you're a big baby. You have the romantic charm and potential for power, but it's eluding you because your ego is still driving. You know, it's funny. I think that masculine and feminines alike, they assume they know what a person will find attractive. And then they're like, okay, I'm going to act like that. And it's never the things you're doing like that are making you, it's something else, you know, like it's something that is not, you're not in control of it. It's just you. It's just your charm. It's just who you are when you're authentic. So masculine, just show up from a place that is authentic, and don't be so concerned, honestly, about how much power you have over this person through your material manifestation of self. Your guardian angel is here to help you look deeper. So this is a deep dive into emotions kind of a thing, being a little bit, you've stayed real shallow with the feminine, just like, oh, hey, how are you? Oh, you know, like there's been no depth here. Like, come on. I was thinking about how, like, there's so many friends I could call right now and go deeply into like some topic, something personal, even things that aren't personal, even just, you know, political things or spiritual ideas, or we could talk for hours and go deep into it. And the only conversations that I have with you are either none at all, or it's like so surface level. It's like, send me a meme and I send you a meme, or like send me a story and I send you a story. It's like, no, get out of that. Your guardian angel is here to help you overcome this fear of intimacy so that you can go much deeper with people, and also look more deeply within yourself for the reasons why you maintain such a surface level relationship with others. This, oh, you know what? Did Divine Feminine not have a, oh no, she did. She had the forgiveness card. For a minute, I was like, oh, she didn't have it. This says grieving. This is that death and transformation energy. It's in reverse. You had a lot of reversals here for your oracles, which means, you know, this, all of this is turning around probably as you're receiving this information. 4 people and 4 likes. I like that. So this time of grieving, I think this is behind you. The fact there was a reversal on this, I'm not feeling a lot of grief even coming from your reading. So I think this is just this reassurance to you that, like, this time of grief and suffering, it's in the past. You have truly transformed. Now is the time to watch your words. Parrot spirit is here. There's definitely communication in the air percolating here. What are you saying to yourself? What message are you repeating? Is it something that makes you feel good about yourself and reminds you of your strengths and potential? Parrots mimic the sounds around them, and when parrot spirit appears, it is time to be more mindful of your self-talk and its qualities. What do you say to others? Are you repeating what you truly believe? Remembering to speak with light and love can become a habit. Be generous with compliments and thanks, affirming all that is good so that your loving, healing words will be heard throughout the jungle, cutting through the noise and inspiring others. Listen for the words that remind you of all the strength, abundance, and joy in your life and in the world around you, and then repeat them, affirming what is real, true, and nurturing to the soul. The universe will reflect back to you the story you tell. Words matter, so choose ones that lift you up and inspire others to remember that beauty surrounds us. One of my songs that I'm performing on the 23rd says, it's not about your nose to the grindstone. It's all about the stories you tell. And that's a really strong message for this masculine and for the masculine energy inside of self that tends to communicate cynicism, pessimism, being closed off. That when you hear yourself speaking like that, stop doing it. Stop doing it. It's not like you're perfect and you're not going to do it, but when you notice it, when you hear it, stop it. Take that moment on the phone with the person you're talking to, or if you're in person with somebody or whatever, take that moment to say, you know what? Scratch what I just said. I don't want to talk that way about this person. I want to be more understanding. I want to be more compassionate. I want to believe that they have good motives. I want to believe that they have good intentions. It will transform your experience of the world. This is your theme, Divine Masculine, and I love it because this card happens to be both of these cards, because in the Thoth Tarot, the Knight of Wands is actually the King of Wands. And over on Divine Feminine's side, underlying all of her thoughts and feelings, we had this card almost. The Knight of Wands and the King of Wands. So what this is telling me is it's time for you to step up and take action as the Divine Feminine is willing and ready to accept you, coming in and sweeping her off her feet, being a monogamous king, being visionary and pioneering and taking action. It's time, Divine Masculine. Go for it. Now, here's an example of what I just said. Here's an example of what I said in the very beginning of this video, which is that when we give those messages, it's time to take action, Divine Masculine. And we are focused on a person, and a person didn't take action. Then we end up feeling like, well, you got that message the other day to take action and you didn't, right? But that is because we are focused on a person who has free will, a person who may not, and in fact is likely not your twin. Likely not. Could be, may not be, likely not. Assume not. The best way to be able to tell is if they reflect back to you directly. However, most of these people do not communicate directly to you. You do not interact with them. You only see social media, which, as you know, is lies. How much of your social media is real? Do you use filters? Filters are a lie. We present the best version of ourselves. We present the self that we think others will like to look at, will admire, will envy. That's our ego. So if you think that you can tell whether a person is reflecting their healing journey from their social media, you're probably not right. And if you also think that you're a reader who can read cards about a person in your life and know what they're going through entirely also. Nope, because your ego will read those cards. The only way that I can get messages for myself are by watching these videos back. And even when I do that, I'm still aware of when my ego is kind of slipping in or out of the readings. So it's still not a pure, it's going to be 11, 11 in 1 second, 11, 11, 10, and 110 on the clock. So truthfully, it's impossible for you to know exactly what your person that you're focused on is doing or thinking or feeling at any moment. You can guess that they're reflecting some aspects of the divine masculine collective energy and some aspects of the divine feminine energy, period. So both sides are important. Both sides will be reflected. But you have no idea of knowing unless you are actually in a relationship with that person. So there's no reason to get frustrated when you're like, this divine masculine didn't do nothing. You don't know what that meant for that person. You don't know what part of the journey you're on. You don't know if that stage in the journey for the divine masculine, the offer that he was making was an offer that was ending this drinking, this behavior of drinking too much. Like maybe he's going to take action and go into a rehab program. And your ass is sitting at home being like, wow, he didn't come and he didn't call me and he didn't do anything and he didn't come into union. So it's 11:11 now. What is more important to you? Him coming and showing up on your doorstep or him going to rehab? Obviously, you love him unconditionally. So it is more important to you that he go take care of himself, no matter what is going on with you. That's what unconditional love is about. And you would want the same thing from him. If you needed to take care of yourself, you wouldn't want him to think that you didn't love him because you had to get your head straight. You would want the freedom to be like, listen, I love you so much, but I need to go get my head straight. Like I'm legit fucked up right now. I can't do anything good for you. I can't do anything good for myself. So toss the frustration where divine masculine didn't do it. Divine masculine didn't take action. You don't know shit about what that person did. You also don't know if you are in the masculine energy and that person's in the feminine energy. Because that's another thing that happens a lot. I get people that come in thinking they're feminine because they think it's gender. And then when I do the reading for them, we realize that it's actually the masculine energy. They're the one who is taking the action. They're the one who is doing all of the things that they want this other person to do. The other person isn't doing it because the other person isn't reflecting back to them. Okay, we are at the final part of the reading now where we will complete these oracles. These are the final messages for both the twins, both parts of self. I am about to move out of this apartment, thank God. It was supposed to happen on the 1st, but it's probably going to happen pretty soon, I would guess, like in the next week or so. So all donations that are sent right now are helping me pay for this move. Not only the rent for my new place, but also the actual like facilitating getting those things to the next place. So any donations that you can send today, I would so appreciate it. There's a number of ways to do it. I realize I need to update my YouTube description, but in the description box below, you can click the link to pearlsprayers.com. There is a support button. You can click support and donate any amount there. You can also type Pearls Prayers, which is like my TikTok handle, for into Venmo or the Cash App. Pearls Prayers. That will work in both on both of those apps. And any donations, I truly appreciate. Thank you. Another way you can support me is just by going to my website and booking a personal reading or private reading. And you can also become a member for $3.33 a month. So you have access to the Tell Me Everything spreads and the additional reading that I normally do. I forgot to do an additional reading, even though yesterday I picked a new spread and everything and I was going to do it and I just totally forgot. So this week I'm probably going to do 2 shorter readings the Tell Me Everything spread plus 2 shorter readings instead of just 2 readings for members this week. I do apologize. I just completely forgot yesterday. Normally, you get 2 readings every week, not just the Tell Me Everything spread, but you're guaranteed the full-length Tell Me Everything, which is like the little one I do on TikTok, but about an hour and a half of reading. And it's similar to this, except it's actually speaking to you from the perspective of the masculine or feminine side of self. You can see me on Thursday for that reading, or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday for the 2 additional readings for members. I will also most likely be reading with Grace Strega, doing free readings on TikTok again this weekend. Stay tuned to our stories to find out exactly when that's happening. And I will be reading $11, $22, and $33 readings on TikTok either once or twice a day, 6 days a week. So you can catch me over there. I'm grinding it out. Okay. You are in the light attributes, the 2 of you. Of the orphan child. This is my Harry Potter card. Also, Le Petit Prince, right? Independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering the fear of surviving. This is beautiful because you need this autonomy in order to really be happy together. You have to have the feeling that you can go it alone and survive and not be afraid that you can't survive, so that when you enter into this relationship, you're not codependent in a negative way. There'll be healthy enmeshment. Your guardian angel is here to say, I know it's been really hard to sleep. I know it's been difficult. I know there've been lots of dreams. I know that you're not feeling very rested. Don't worry. If you can, steal naps when you can. Right now, the energy is very charged. It's intense. It's Aries season. It's, we're getting a lot of ideas. We're staying up late. It's not going to last forever. If you need help with sleep, just catch it when you can. This is also about being completely awakened, no longer being asleep on the journey, but understanding that you must take action, you must have follow through, etc. Wow. I'm actually going to read this card coming out. This is the New Beginning card, and I want to give us the ritual magic that comes from this card. This card heralds a brand new chapter in your life. You've already noticed challenges or even breakdowns in relationships that have always been familiar to you, both at work and in other situations. This is because you're at a turning point in your life and certain factors need to leave before the good stuff can come in. It's been a long, hard slog, but there's a glimmer of hope sparkling in the distance that indicates a destiny you've been wishing for. New ideas, successful projects, and golden opportunities await. You have a second chance. Throw caution to the wind and trust in the great mystery as you walk into your future. Okay, so now we're going to imagine this. We're going to do this spell, but we're just going to imagine it kind of like as a little mini meditation here. So just relax and get comfortable if you're not already. And start to tune into your breathing at your own pace. Start to calm and just slow your breathing and deeply breathe. And imagine that you are holding some daffodil bulbs in an envelope at mid-morning on a Sunday during a waxing crescent moon phase. So picture yourself holding these daffodil bulbs and an envelope. Repeat after me. The door is closing to the past. For future's sake, it couldn't last. The worst is gone. Prepare for change. Letting go may feel strange. Into bulbs place all hope and pop them in an envelope. Send to future self post haste. Receive them well, no time to waste. A new door opens to walk through. Seize your chance and see it through. Now, open the envelope and plant in the earth the bulbs that are infused with new hope so they might grow. Now say, gratefully, I accept the magic of you, of protection to assist in all that I do. Lend me the courage, build power in me, assist my transcendence, so mote it be. Start living in the present. New opportunities await. The situation is being healed. The outcome is far greater than you imagined, and you have a chance to reinvent yourself. All the meanings from that card. And now we're going to get our animal spirit message. We just got this in the reading last night I was doing for the collective. This is lion spirit. Be generous of spirit. It is number 37. Oh, yeah. A healthy ego means you ease God's order instead of edging God out. Lion spirit's appearance is a reminder that you have been given the gift of pride and a healthy sense of your worth to express your divine, authentic self in a unique way. You are both the king and the queen, secure in your prosperity and wisdom and generous of spirit as you help others. Take pride in your ability to serve from the heart. Contentment with what you have right now allows you to use your resources wisely as you give to others in ways that educate, heal, inspire, and delight. Be proud yet humble. Practice gratitude, and you will find that the accolades that come to you are no match for the joy of knowing what you have been able to do for others through expressing the bounty of generosity within you. Lion Spirit knows there is a great savannah before you and many who will benefit from the healthy expression of your unique set of gifts if you choose to work in partnership with Spirit. All your relationships flourish as you express your worth and generosity of spirit with humility and kindness. What a blessing you can be to all. Gorgeous energy. And your final message, your theme for this week, the two of you, is the 9 of Wands, which Divine Masculine has been able to put behind him, this victim mentality. I also think that Divine Masculine is probably feeling pretty exhausted from just watching the feminine instead of taking action. And that's one of the things that's kind of pushing him to take action. But the two of you are really needing to embrace the strength that this period of isolation, separation, and healing has really given you. You're feeling exhausted. That sleep card was in reverse. Just rest. Just rest. The masculine energy is ready to take action. And anytime that I have something really important to do, what I do the night before is intend to get a good night's sleep. I intend to eat well, drink a lot of water, and go to bed on time. Avoid substances that would affect my voice or my performance in any way, and just be ready to show up, put on a great show for everybody, have a good time, see all my friends, connect. So get deep, restorative sleep if possible. Take care of yourself and act as if you're getting ready for the night before a glorious event is going to take place. And you're really just resting up for that event. That is your work for this week. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I do have so much fun doing these readings. As I said in this reading today, it is how I get my messages, by watching these back, because I'm not really present for them when I'm doing them. It's a very strange process. And I do feel that the insight I have gained from teaching in this capacity has been priceless. You know, it's paid for itself over and over again, because it's given me mastery in my life in a way that I never realized I had the ability to achieve on my own. So thank you for being here with me and sharing this with me. I shall see members on Thursday for the Tell Me Everything spread. Again, that's only $3.33. It's a really humble donation. Really helps me a lot. Obviously, if 1,000 people do that, I will be fine for my rent every month in Los Angeles. Oh my God. But thank you so much, everybody. I will see you I'll probably see people later on TikTok tonight, this evening, if I'm feeling up to it. Otherwise, I will see you all on Wednesday. Take care.